a bit more of a wander around. Just looking at Damien Bradley, we're going to have a chat later in the day.
What a machine that is. What a machine.
He's just returned from Pikes Peak Hillclimb, and he's going to give me an update and a little chat about his experiences and what he had to do to get there and all that sort of stuff.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
so, back to you.
We'll leave you to that. And with that, we've got Nick Davis on the start line at the moment, kitted out with his BMW 330D, which is in fact, as those on the lower part of the hill will now be seeing, an estate car, which is slightly unusual for speed hill climbing. But Nick took part in his first event back in 1986, which was a sprint on the racetrack at Snetterton, and it was actually snowing that day. And he's also done a bit of circuit racing, auto tests, trials, and some rallying. And now on speed hill climbing. Has another machine in the garage, which he's working on. In fact, it's the car that he used to circuit race, a Sunbeam Lotus, and that may well be coming out onto the hill in due course. So following uphill, car number 60, moving through into modified series production cars. That's Jim Herbert with the Mitsubishi Evo TRE 2.8 modified series production cars, and Jim and those in Class C4 as well, the aforementioned Damien Bradley, Stephen Darley and Stephen Moore, who's now off the line with his Evo 6. They'll be looking very much to qualify for the top 10 Tin Top Challenge. It's a good job I haven't had any otter yet, because that might become a bit difficult. But yes, they'll be vying for positions on that. And in fact, as we speak, lining up on the start is Stephen Darley, Subaru Impreza Type RB that he will be sharing with Damien Bradley. Gets the green light, which means the drivers can depart the start in their own time. Launches in 2.35 seconds, so the four-wheel drive, obviously an assistance there. Across the parkland here at Wiscombe Park, over Bunny's Leap, and then right-handed in through the gate, I should say, through the gate, not into the gate. And then we have the S's. Second timings spot 20.26 for Stephen, as he's now heading up to the right-hand hairpin at Saul Bench. There's a bit of a left-hand kink before that, but he's made his way through there. And now Castle Straight, the fastest part of the hill here on this 915 metre course at Wiscombe Park, as Peter Reid makes his way up to Bunny's Leap with the Westfield. Oh, and he's a bit on the grass, and has something broken, or is it just got away from him? Certainly, yes, we are actually dropping a trail of something there, I think, or perhaps that was the car before. Was that cause and effect? But Peter taking it easy on the way to the top of the hill now. No, he puts his hand in the air. He's going to come to a halt in the S's, so we'll have a little bit of a recovery situation going on there. 65 Paul Reynolds has been red flagged, as those in the vicinity will have seen. That is a mechanism to attract the driver's attention, to say there's something untoward on the hill, and to stop immediately and await further instructions. So that's the immediate effect. Legend 34 Coupe next up the hill, and then we move into Class F Sports Libra cars up to 2000 cc's, which actually now includes Jan and David. They were in Class E, but they've been moved across now to Class F, so they're in with everything else, and Jan's way off the line in 2.84 seconds. Actually, before Jan goes, we've got a rerun for Paul Reynolds, who was flagged. He was on the hill when Peter Reid had his problem, so Paul Reynolds on the hill at the moment with the Caterham 1585cc Caterham over the S's in 23.5 seconds, cautiously through the S's of course, and now up to the right hand hairpin at Saul Bench, where the track looks decidedly wet, damp and greasy. Delivers the power very cautiously on Castle Straight and peaks pace at about 126 kilometres an hour before getting on the brakes and over the finish line in 49.39 for Paul Reynolds, former Tillicoultry Quarries Wiscombe Park champion, and now it's 69. That means it's David Yeo with the Legend 34. David, retired quantity surveyor from Exeter. Out of the S's in 23.60, is now into the braking zone for Saul Bench, but slides off, understeers off the track, but critically doesn't make contact with the tyre barrier. So just a little bit of embarrassment, and then select reverse gear and back onto the tarmac, and then David will be able to proceed up the track. Yep, all being well, and up to the top paddock. Yep, he's on Long Castle Straight. So once he's safely into the top paddock area, we can continue with the practice, and it'll be car 72, Alan Dyke. Alan in his mega pin, sports racer, powered by a 1074cc Suzuki motorcycle engine. Alan started his motorsport, his dalliance with motorsport, shall we say, back in the 80s when he did a bit of karting. But now his attention is hill climbing. Has a single seater as well. Had a single seater. Alan waits for the green light on the start line. Once the drivers have that display, then they can go in their own time. Green light shows Alan's away, and the mega pin goes through the speed trap at 3.17 seconds. As he's now around Wiss corner, and then powers up basically we say Wiss straight, but there's a little curve on it on the approach to Bunny's Leap, and then let the car settle and brake for the right-hander through the gate. Then it's negotiating the S's, so left, right, left, and then the next target is the right-hand hairpin at Saul Bench, right, slight right. Left, sorry, I'm looking at it the wrong way, left-hander, and he's now into the right-hand hairpin at Saul Bench, neatly through there, clocked 26.57 in the S's, and now clocked 105 kilometres an hour before he brakes for the hairpin at Martini. And now Tim Pitfield on the hill with his DJ Firecat, another motorcycle powered machine, a 1400cc Suzuki. This is an X-Circuit racing chassis, and Tim out of the S's in 21.89 proceeds through the kink up towards Saul Bench. This car originally commissioned for the Winwick Circuit Championship, Racing Championship in Germany. The project was cancelled. Chassis number 3, and now Mike Lee approaches the gate with his Force LM, Force Le Mans, another motorcycle powered machine. Let's pick up those times. David Yeo, car number 69, stopped the clock at 73.11. So we see the times have dropped markedly since that little shower of rain and situation on the hill. With the mega pin car number 72, clocked to 54.95. Tim Pitfield's in the top paddock with the DJ Firecat car number 73 on 46.69. 46.69 for Tim Pitfield. So making our way up through the S's now. Samuel Nicholson with the Malek Mark 20, and away from the start line we have Mike West with his SR1 Radical. Samuel Nicholson from Exeter mechanical engineer with Haumet. Mike Lee's time car 74 is a 47.25. So in the second practice leading the way, but it is practice, so really take the positions of that too seriously. It'll all start on that qualifying run a little bit later. Around the left-hander after the start, which is Wiscombe, goes David Bickley, another SR1 Radical chassis. David from Atherstone in Warwickshire, retired electrical distribution engineer, and this car powered by a 1440cc Suzuki Hayabusa motorcycle engine, producing about 90 brake horsepower. As away off the line goes Matthew Price with a more contemporary Radical. This is the SR3 1600cc power unit propelling this along, and Samuel Nicholson's time got about 75, so 44.93, so that's now the benchmark on the second practice runs. Mike West car 76, clocks of 51.29. Bickley joins in the top paddock car 77, 50.64. So now approaching the line, the mighty V8 Audi motor in the SBR Chrono, which piloted by Simon Bainbridge, who was talking to Dave Pearce a little while ago. Time for 78, Matthew Price with the SR3 Radical. That's a 42.53. Now the Chrono away off the line in 2.75 seconds. And we've got the 6-speed sequential gearbox driving the rear wheels. So remember, it's a 4.2 litre twin turbo V8 motor, originally from an Audi RS6. And the silencer produces about 750 brake horsepower and weighs in at about 940 kilograms. Off the start climb. Move classes. Car number 40. So it goes back down into Class B, road going specialist cars, to pick up John Pick with the AMS Mertea. Subaru Impreza running gear, 2 litre turbocharged engine. John car number 40, out of the S's in 21.95. Now he's round Sawbench and on his way up to Martini. And he makes Martini safe and sound over the finish line. 47.15 for John Pick. He's followed up the hill by car 85, going from one class to another. That's Archie Kerr from Class I, racing cars 600 to 1100 cc's, but it appears that Archie has slowed markedly at Saw Bench, hence the red flag. There's obviously a fear that Jonathan Flesher with the 1 litre OMS was going to catch Archie Kerr. Archie's made it to the top and over the finish line into the top paddock, but unfortunately won't be given a time. Well, he is given a time, but it won't mean much to him. 63.05, and that means that 89 Jonathan Flesher received the red flag. So he will be given a rerun, the opportunity to take that run again, because he was forced to abort it. Now we'll see whether it's decided at race control to turn the car around and send it straight back to the start line, or whether they'll ask him to go to the top paddock and will take his rerun a little later. Just getting the OMS going, the car that he shares with Tim Thompson, and the car fired up and now making its way up through the S's. They may still yet turn it around, but there's no space being made on the start line, so I guess Jonathan's going to go to the top. And he looks like he is. Yep, he negotiates some wedge hairpin, and will be up to the top panic, and then the red flags can be withdrawn, and we will be away to continue this practice session. And Will Hamer will be next to run. I think he's on the start line, car number 90, the 1 litre OMS 28. So it's Ben Hamer with his OMS 28, clocked 37.7. So he's setting the pace at the moment. Away off the line, 2.61 seconds. Goes Will Hamer quickly up through the gears with a sequential gearbox, and then lets the suspension settle and brakes, turns right through the gate into the S's, where he clocks in at 18.22. Wrestling the car up through the top of the S's into the approach to Saw Bench. Finds his line, a little bit of oversteer as he applies the power and accelerates up Castle Straight, and his next target will be braking for the left-hand hairpin at Martini. And as he does that, way off the line in 2.7 seconds goes Tom Weaver with his Empire Evo. Hamer's time car number 90 is a 38.92, and 91 through the S's in 19.2. As we move to the Formula Ford class, and Caroline Ryder, the RF86 pilot, on the hill off the start in 2.63 seconds. Will Hamer's time car number 90 back in class I, 38.92, and now Tom Weaver, car number 91, 41.83. Up towards Bunny's Leap then we have Sarah Bosworth, the class record holder, with her RF85 Van Diemen. Sarah set the record a year ago, 43.22. So Caroline Ryder's time car number 94 in these second practice runs is 47.24. 47.24 for number 94. And we have Jimmy Harris on the hill, approaching the right-hander at the gate. Gets his braking neatly down, tackles the first element of the S's, and his time midway there is 21.64. Sarah Bosworth time car number 95 at the top, so 45.87. 45.87. And now moving briskly across the parkland here goes Alan Warburton with the Gould GR59, which he shares with his son David. David we'll see later running as car number 8. Look at competition numbers in a short while that range between 1 and 10. That tells us the finishing position of that driver in last year's British Championship. So Jimmy Harris over the line with the RF85 Van Diemen in 46.51, as around West Corner goes Liam Cooper from Exeter with the Force TA 1600cc machine, off the line in 2.44 seconds. And as you see, Liam is up his competition number. We'll see his wife Olivia a little later at the wheel. Olivia's the ladies record holder here at Wiscombe Park, but Liam's out of the S's in 18.84. Waiting on the line, Steve Owen with his 1600 OMS 2000M. He makes his start in 2.82 seconds. Alan Warburton's time car number 98 is a 42.78. 42.78 for Alan Warburton, and Liam Cooper is at the top in 40.54 for car 103A. Next to go then is Paul Jones with the Force TA, shares with Darren Gumley. Owen with the OMS then out of the S's in 21.93. Over the finish line 106. Racing ahead there. We have 104 over the finish line. 45.48 for Steve Owen. Through the gate up into the S's then. 111A, which will be next to run, will be 111. Colburn from the racing car class K1, which is 1600 to 2 litre, but normally aspirated engines, and then class K2 will be for forced induction machines. Marshall's up at Martini, having to replace the little marker boards on the inside, the dolly posts. There's a lot of the drivers that get that close. Sometimes, if they're not positioned properly, draft can pull them out of their sockets, but that's all been rectified. So away off the line in 2.6 seconds then goes Andrew Colborne. And then he'll be followed up the hill by Dean Tye, mentioned earlier on by Dave. Dean, the Australian Hillclimb champion, built the Empire Wraith turbocharged 1300 machine of Bill Luffridge. We'll see at the wheel later, but Dean lined up. So 22.31 in the S's as he's on the brakes at Martini, but not at full racing speeds, and he just creeps around over the finish line in 50.50 for 111A. Through this is in 19.96. Takes a nice wide line into the bench, finds the apex, and then makes his way along Castle Straight. 132 kilometers an hour as he brakes and over the finish line in 41.65. 41.65 for Dean Tye with the Empire Wraith, taking us into the forced induction category of racing cars, 1600 to 2 litre cc's. 115A off the line, that's Kelvin Broad with the Force TA. Kelvin stepped it away from the start in 2.45 seconds. Clocks are 19.9004 at the S's. Coming out of the top end of the S's, but now it's saw bench, neat and tidy. Goes a little bit deeper than the exit. Steps out as he applies the power, and it's Martini that's now attracting his attention. Smoothly through there and over the line in 40.36 for Kelvin Broad. Car 115A, 40.36. Mazda MX-5, not a competing car, it's an official making up to the top of the hill. So once that machine is safely in the top paddock, then we'll be returning those cars down the hill once the course vehicle gets there, but the course vehicle is dropping a few people off on the way up the hill, so there's work to be done, but we'll be looking to return those cars down the hill, and then we will continue with this second practice run for the national event competitors, and they will then go forward to after lunch to a qualifying run, and the fastest 12 will then come out for the top 12 runoffs. But we've also got the tin top qualifying to go, tin top 10, so there'll be anything with a roof, so we'll have 2 runoffs a little bit later. And I can hear David's moving around.
I am indeed moving. Not a lot of people down here that I can really get to at the moment, because they're either sat in their cars ready to come out or up the hill waiting to come down. Apart from Darren Gumley, who seems to have worked out how to run. Come on, Darren. You can't get out of it. It's no point. It's no point. You might as well talk and get it over with. So you're down. Obviously, you're got a good sort of, shall we say, record for making it to the top here, haven't you?
One fail.
One fail. The one that will never let you forget.
And I stood with you in the rain.
It was wet, wasn't it?
Yeah, very wet.
But you've had your practice up this morning. Is it good?
Yeah, second in class to Dave Warburton. Good.
That's not bad, is it?
Yep. Just need to go quicker.
Yeah. So just stop that then.
On his way to the start line. So we're looking at racing cars, class J2 in the programme, 1100 to 1600 cc's are the engine capacities. And Andrew with a 1400 cc Suzuki powered OMS CF04. Now we mentioned Ed Hollier, a local driver, actually record holder here, not here unfortunately today, but he and Andy are usually contesting the fastest time of the day in the clubman's meetings, so now is there a chance to perform on the national stage, so to speak. Andrew is away in 2.54 seconds. So the engine was rebuilt winter before last, so it's really getting to grips with the characteristics. Is in 18.62 as he makes his bid to negotiate sore bench. Oversteer under power on the way out, and following him up the hill, Andrew Short, another OMS, but this is a CF07, so a carbon fibre chassis. Andrew from Exeter. Time for Andrew Forsyth at the top, car 100 is a 39.09, and Andrew Short is at the top in 39.55. So now around West Corner all the way across the parkland. Here's car 102, Mark Shankler with his Force TA 1600cc car. Mark departed the start line in 2.52 seconds. Now your taxi S's through there in 18.78. A bit twitchy on the remains of that oil spillage, but he's nice and wide. Takes the round martini. Round saw bench, so he avoids the camber on the inside. As following him up the 950 metre course is Olivia Cooper, who's off the line in 2.31 and now leaves the S's in the wake of 20.4. Time for 102, Mark Shankler, that's 39.09. as across the park up to Bunny's Leap goes Gary Hill with the OMS 2000M that he shares with Stephen Owen. So Olivia Cooper 103 stops the clocks on 41.62 as Hill approaches Saul Bench hairpin and through there without any problems. Jason Tunnicliffe posted a 2.56 seconds off the start line. Jason, a garage own-up from Wedmore in Somerset. With his Empire Evo 3, turbocharged machine. Kawasaki ZX-10R engine is actually programmed. So 105, Jason Tunnicliffe rounds Martini and stops the clocks. We just wait for the time to come through. Jason Tunnicliffe 39.36. Gary Hill 104 was 40.79 with the OMS. Darren Gumley on the hill, talking to Dave very shortly ago, so to speak, and he's 18.09 with the Force TA at the S's. That sort of bench as well, keeps it nice and smooth around there as he hits the hairpin at Martini and completes his climb. Got 106 as off the line is Andy Greenan with the Empire Evo 3. Gumbley's time then 37.4 for 106. Drivers cautious with the put down to treat it. It's very white against the track surface, so they can great circuit around Saul Bench, stays out of problems, negotiates Martini without problem. So Andy over the line in 38.21. So we're looking at 37s by Darren Gumley, 37.40. Fastest time so far. Number 8, David Warburton, might be looking to have an impact on the races with the June 59 and 17.77. Now on Castle Straight, and it's about 150 kilometres an hour before he gets on the brakes and manhandles the Gould through the left-hand hairpin and over the finish line. David's time car number 8, 36.67. So racing cars 1100 to 1600 cc. And as we can see from David's competition number 8, last year's championship, so he'll be hoping to get involved in the runoffs a little bit later after the lunch break. Now striding out across the parkland is Aaron Colburn with the Van Diemen RFO2 FX 2-litre machine. Through the left-hander before Saul Bench. And waiting on the start line, William Luffridge with the Empire Wraith. Car recently been up the hill in Dean Tighe's hands, the Australian champion. Dean got it to the top in 41.65. We've had Kelvin Broad already there in the Force TA, car number 115A, in 40.36. So now we've got William Luffridge on the hill, and on the start line Alex Coles with the Force TA that he campaigns alongside Kevin Ward. Alex is away in a 2.37 seconds. Alex been involved in a number of shootouts or run-offs this season. In fact, he's qualified for 14 so far this season. So that would suggest that looking for a number ranging from 1 to 10 for next season. Because at the moment, Alex lies 8th in the British Hillclimb Championship on a total of 53 points. Dave Uren, the next man above, on 69, and he's got a 10-point buffer over 9th place man Paul Hames at the moment. So 10 on the line is Paul Hames with the 1300 turbocharged Gould GR59. Paul from Farnham in Surrey. Was introduced to the sport by his father and his uncle. His uncle Steve Snell, regular visitor here at Wiscombe Park. Won the class-based leaders championship, which we now call the British Hillclimb Cup, back in 2001 in a BDG powered Mallock, and then moved into single seaters with a Dallara F397. But red flags out at the moment, so we've killed the engine on the Gould, which is basically a twin turbo Suzuki Hayabusa 1300 turbocharged. When not hill climbing, Paul has a passion for education and acts as a school governor. So he's been wheeled back, or Gould has been wheeled back to the start of the tyre warming area, so Paul can spin the rear wheels up, get a little heat into the slick tyres. This year there's been a little bit of competition between Avon and Hoosier. So look at the sidewalls of the tyres, and the Avons are usually printed in red and the Hoosiers in white, so even at speed you'll be able to tell the difference. 2.36 for Hames away off the line, throwing up a little bit of dust from the compound as he brakes for the gate. And I think he has a problem as well. That might not have been dust. The Gould has come to a very rapid halt. Paul has arrested his progress, and I wonder if that might not have been dust. Marshals are quickly there, just at the lower part of the S's. So it looks good as we review the climb, and he's neat and tidy over Bunny's Leap, but then he's being followed by what I originally described as a dust trail, but perhaps that was something more significant. Paul, as you can see from his competition number, finished 10th in the championship last year. Oh dear, are you all right, David?
Just having a funny turn.
Oh,
I'll move
sorry.
away from the speakers a bit. I was just going to have a wander up and see who there is to chat to. Just quite interesting walk. The non-race paddock, as I would call it. See what's going on. Not a lot, the man says.
So the marshals are out on the hill, just checking to see if, make sure there's nothing that's been dropped by the Gould. Paul been having had differential problems during the Harewood meeting a month or so ago. If there is any chance of fluids being dropped, then the marshals will be very cautious as to how we go forward now.
The Clark's just made an announcement to say it's mechanical failure, so it could be a few minutes. Let's find out.
As I was saying, they had differential problems last month at Harewood, so maybe not. Anyway, very quickly, recovery vehicle in situ, and it'll be on the old spectacle lift and removed to the top of the hill, and then we can get the next man into play. Keep the momentum of the meeting going. That'll be Jonathan Flesher with the OMS 28 1 litre powered car from Class I racing cars with engines 600 to 1100 cc's.
Well, Jeff, while you're there dealing with that, I'm with Eric Murray with the lovely little imp. Don't see many imps these days out on the hills, so it's quite nice to see. Tell us a bit about it. It's not actually a Maguire space frame or anything, is it?
No, it's a full steel shell. It's a proper imp with big arches on, basically. Yeah.
And power in it? You've got a metal roof, yeah, proper steel roof.
Mod pod steel shell.
Mod pod steel. So tell us a little bit about it, because mechanically, are you running injection on this?
It's the original Hillclimb imp engine, 1 litre, with fuel injection and a turbo.
And what sort of output are you getting from that?
Around about 190 horsepower at 9,000 revs.
So the imp engine used to rev high, didn't it?
This one still does.
Thankfully. You come quite a distance to be today as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've come down from Leicester this morning. I just don't like travelling, the traffic.
I think if you left at 5 o'clock yesterday, you would still got here the same time today with the M5 as it is.
Yeah, I love coming down there. It's brilliant hill. Love driving it.
And how did you build this yourself, or was it already a race car before you bought it?
I've done virtually all of it, but the actual shell I bought as a historic rally car. Someone actually prepared, we'd had it acid dipped, had the cage put in it, and then decided not to rally it. And I bought it basically for the price of the roll cage. And basically did 3 years building this up.
So you designed all the arches yourself and everything?
The arches are all a Rawson from the 70s, probably 70s. Yeah. And luckily someone did a copy of them. The front end's a bit heavy because it was done for racing, so it's earthable.
So lovely. And obviously you say you're coming down, and you do get in the top 10 as well, don't you?
Did it at Harewood 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think last year as well down here. So when it's going, it goes quite well. It's on the edge of breaking something.
Yeah, but the other thing is, being a small car, it's quite nimble on the narrow tracks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's narrow, it's got lots of traction with the rear engine. It's great fun for throwing around. Yeah, it is good fun.
Lovely. Well, thanks for bringing it down. And I'd say it's great to see an imp. We see the houses here with their imp quite regular. But in the old days, Charles Barter, who used to be heavily involved with Woolbridge Motor Club and the Golden Springs Watercress, he had his Maguire and Davrian and all that. I mean, they were lovely cars as well, weren't they?
Yeah, the Ginettas, the Clans, the Davrians, there's still great enthusiasts driving them, and the little imp engine just keeps getting better and better. For something that's 60 years old now, it still goes really well.
60 years old. And Andy's little Ginetta there, he's been coming, well, I think he was coming here when I was a boy with that.
Yeah, he's been here plenty of times.
He knows the way to the top. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend, and let's hope to see you in the tin top. I struggle to say that. Does everybody else struggle?
Yeah. Well, that's got a tin top.
It has. True, yes. And you're challenging, yes. That's good.
Say it slowly, Dave. Tin top 10.
Can I borrow your teeth?
It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one.
Oh, look at that. Stephen Moore, Saved by the Bell.
Jonathan Flesher then on the hill with the OMS gets us back onto the action. Car he shares with Tim Thompson. Tim's already taken a second practice run of 39.74, and just about to see taking this time at the S's, but the screen has gone away, so I can't tell you that. But he's a little bit opposite rocking it out of the hairpin at Saul Bench. 154 kph before he breaks for Martini. 89 over the line in 38.16 for Jonathan. So it's Ben Hamer setting the pace at this stage in Class I with 37. So we're going to focus on car 122, which is a car we'll be seeing later in the qualification and top 12 runoffs, and that's the DJ Firestorm. At the moment with Lindsay Summers at the wheel, running as 122. A little later, my son Alex will run as number 2. Record holder and national champion here at Wiscombe Park, but around Saul Bench is Sean Gould with the car that took the championship last year in the hands of Matt Ryder, and now it's one of those cars from yesteryear on its way through the S's. That's the Chevron B19 Sports Racer of Amanda George. 1875cc motor. Let's just pick up a few times. Which is Lindsay Summers, DJ. So 44.76. Sean Gould car number 7 then with the 4-litre Judd power, stopping the clocks on 36.09. Amanda George has made it to the top with the Chevron B19 from Class M, car 126A, in 47.69. And before that, of course, was Jonathan Flesher, and that was a 38.16. So we had a fail also, not only for Paul Hames, but also for Alex Coles as well, 115. So we hope all will be well with both of those cars. We'll be able to reveal that in due course when the cars have been reviewed by the technical experts of each of those teams. So all the drivers' helmets on up in the top paddock, ready to turn down the hill into the main paddock area. Missed a time for William Luffridge early on, that was car 114. It's 39.fastest during the second practice race. K2 cars now filtering out of the top paddock, collection paddock, and making their way back down the hill. So don't forget, no additional charges, no paddock transfers. You can come into the paddock.
He does come out and do the nationals, does a lot of national stuff. Beautiful. I believe this is the ex-Tipperdale car, isn't it? He's got ex-Tim Tim Painter car.
But it's been DJized. It's now a DJ 55 XD. So but I think you're right. It was originally.
I think it was Tim Painter and Andy Fraser.
Andy Fraser machine.
I mean, the man who knows all these things, James Wills, he's wandering around here. He would know that. I mean, he would even be able to. I think he's got hill climbs in his blood. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. I would imagine this will probably be the last batch before we break for lunch.
I would imagine so.
If all goes well.
Paul Crewe pushes on with the OMS that looks like a Jaguar Formula 1 car of the period, 20.04. He clocks in the S's as he now strides out through the left-hand kink into the right-hand hairpin at Saw Bench. Wide in, finds a late apex, delivers the power nice and smoothly. 125 kph before he breaks for Martini. Now over the line in 41.9. 41.9 for Paul Crewe. As we see, 120 on the hill. That's Edmund Burgess with the 2.5 litre power plant in this machine. And now it's Terry Graves off the line with the Gould DJ 55 XD. Terry, a electrical contractor from Launceston. Car used to run with a Cosworth HB Formula 1 engine. IndyCar racer, so it's a 2.65 litre V8. Safely away from the banks. Clocks a climb of 40.30, 40.30 for 121. Edmund Burgess running his car 120, stopped the clocks on 41.23, 41.23 for car 120. So next man down to the start line, running as number 6, Dave Uren with the Gould GR55B 55 with the Nicholson McLaren XB V8 3.5 litre. As his number denotes, they finished 6th in last year's championship, which improved on the 8th place finish in 2023. Off the line in 2.35 seconds, as he's now over Bunny's Leap, and the back gets a bit light there, and he breaks for the gate. Neat and tidy through the first element of the S's, 17.79. Power in and heads off to Saw Bench. Nice and wide, finds his line. Applies the power. Castle straight now, 155 kph on the brakes and over the finish line. As he's followed up by number 5, Trevor Willis, with the OMS 28. Climb champion, Midland Hill Climb champion, Leaders champion. As Mingies comes to the line, another here at Wiscombe Park, post 32.93, but things have moved on. Mountain Pat rider since then, full-time British champion, and he rockets off the line in 2.2 seconds, 2.22 to be exact, keeping the power in, feathering the throttle over Bunny's Leap into the gate. through the S's in 16.67. Tidy approaches bench. Smooth all the way through. Power delivery on up Castle Straight. That's Martinian over the line in 34.76. 34.76 for Wallace Mingies. Trevor Willis, car number 5, posted 36.01, and Dave Yoren, Runnings car number 6, 36.45. Will Hall on the line then with his Gould GR59. This version powered by a 4-litre Judd motor. Will from Stourbridge. Previously campaigned a Force W8 chassis with a AER X-Tech 4-cylinder turbo engine, which was derived from the Le Mans sports racing cars. But now it's a Gould GR59 with 4-litre Judd V8, giving about 670 brake horsepower, with the car being pushed back away from the start line at the moment. Now, is that so Will can just spin up the rear tyres and get some heat into them? I hope so. I hope it's nothing more serious than that. That appears to be the case. So Will Hall ready and waiting, as is Alex Summers, and then we should be finding the Gould GR59, which will be piloted by the reigning British Hillclimb champion, which is Matt Ryder. So a little bit of a hold before we can get Will Hall away from the start line. So Wallace Mingies certainly setting the pace at the moment, and as we mentioned a little earlier, at the moment just 6 points in arrears at the top of the British Hillclimb Championship and he eases it, uses the torque of that 4-litre Judd to launch in 2.31 seconds. Keeps off the bank at the exit of Saw Bench, now through the gate into the S's, where he clocks a 16.65. Smooth through the top of the S's, negotiates and just slide on the way out as Alex Summers steps off the line, just 0.02 of a second slower than Hall, so it's nip and tuck between these two. Hall at the top in 35.35, 35.35. So this is unofficial, that puts him second. 2 is Alex Summers, and he was 16.6. The S's. Matt Ryder prepares on the start line. The marshal points out the right situation. It goes green, so he's eased it off very delicately to 2.29 seconds, and he streaks across the parkland over Bunny's lead, gets his eye in for the braking at the gate. All important. Keep the momentum going, flowing through the S's. 16.17 as 230 takes to the start line. So 16.17. Ryder, as he's now pushing on along Castle Straight, 161 kph, and over the finish line. Alex Summers stopped the clocks in 34.96. So not quite on the pace of Wallace Mingy's, 2/10 of a second down, and Matthew Ryder is a 34.37, so the fastest of 2-metre racing cars in Class L. So Andy Tippett on the hill with the Brabham BT30. So 126 away off the line. Richard George with the Chevron B19. Richard from Marsh Green in Kent in this car that was built for Joe Siffert Racing. Joe Siffert, of course, a Formula One racer from Switzerland. Contested the European 2-litre Sports Racing Championship. We now move to the Downton Motor Club class, and I would just make you aware that the numbers in the programme, the numbers are one out once you get to John Wells. I think it's listed in the programme as 134. He's actually 133, and that's the case all the way down to Ian Englehart, who will actually be running as 147. So it's the Sampson Mini away off the line, 136. That's Stuart Sampson with this 1380cc Mini Clubman. Time for Andy Tippett, running as 125 in the Brabham DT30. It's a 45.92. Richard George with the Immaculate Chevron, 48.75. So the Downton Motor Club consists dominantly minis because of the association of minis with the Downton Tuning Company, which lends its name to the club, but because of the current structure and the way this meeting has been run today, they'd like to join, and they will be able to run under a different permit with a different competition licence than the national competitors with the British Championship. So against Westfields and a few other things, Seagulls, etc. That double-driven car, 136A, with in the hands of Stuart Sampson.
We have to remember the work and dedication was put in by Steve Harris for Downton, who we sadly lost earlier this year.
The late Steve
Harris,
yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was the driving force behind it for quite some time, wasn't he?
I think, he was the instigator, so to speak, at day one, and then drove it forward, if you excuse the pun.
Yeah.
For over, decade or more.
I'm going to try and get up the paddock a bit further. There's a chance that the microphone may pack up, but we'll have a go. They're working tomorrow to get a relay for me so that we can get a bit more range.
Well, I hope your relay works.
So do I. I'm just watching Steve O. He's doing an educational tour on an OMS up here. It's fantastic. So he's going to tell us all about it once he's finished educating. He says, this is the bit that does that, and you wiggle this one, and you prod that one.
There's no man better to tell us.
There is no man better when it comes to the car.
We're away on that with John Reed coming down to the start line in his somewhat unusual Ford Anglia 105E, so we're talking early 60s I guess, but it's got a V6 Ford 2.9 litre motor, so not quite as the Henry Ford envisaged. So a few decades ago, but we'll see how this machine goes. John from Exeter, garage proprietor. a tenner. A little while to go, admittedly, but still an impressive figure. And the lights go green. John steps off the line. 3.07 seconds. Goes a little deep at the first left-hander at Wiscombe, but safely away from the bank. And as he makes his way through that slight right, leading up to Bunny's Leap, and then away into the S's. We'll see what progress he's making there, and it's a 27.84 as way off the line with the WRX. Goes Dan Stevens from Bridgewater, an agricultural mechanic by occupation, with this 2.5 litre turbo machine. TD05 hybrid turbo link engine system, suspension wheel upgrades, bigger brakes, all part of things done to make faster. It's his first year of competing in motorsport, but he now quite happily says, I'm hooked, in this car that he's owned since April last year. Not too much money on all those modifications, but he's enjoying it. That's the main thing. As up towards Bunny's Leap, then we have the Mini Cooper S R53. The S is in 22.0. 53 and 136 off the line at 2.85. That's Nigel Sampson. Mazda MX-5, very popular sort of a car to drive to an event and compete in, and hopefully drive home. This is Peter Stevens with his MX-5 NC 1800cc machine. The S is in 21.75. That's away off the start line. 3.14 seconds goes Kieran Stevens with the Vauxhall Corsa. 1400cc machine. A little problem earlier on, had to be towed back into the car park, as we now see 139 Kevin Taylor with his 1380cc Alston Mini ahead of Lee Kessel, who's on the start line away 3.19 seconds. 1310cc, and then we've got the more modern, the BMW Mini Cooper S. So let's look at some times, and we've got Stuart Sampson 136A 45 Nigel Sampson, and he's posted a 45.16. Zach Cobb running 135 with the R53 at the top of 45.43. And 36A Stuart Sampson posted a 46.96. Yep, got that. So on the hill at the moment, 141 out of the S's in 22.46. As 143 makes his way to the start line, and is actually on the start line now. Go to the BMW Minis as John White is making his way through the S's in 25.89. Toby Bishop is way off the line in 3.11 seconds with car 143. 1600 supercharged machine. Peter Smith with the Masters at the top. Let's see if we can find his time. Kieran Stevens 138 posted a time of 52.45. Kev Taylor 47.29, and Lee Kessel 48.85. So there's the Mark II Escort with Mark Porter at the wheel. Brother Tim's already taken a go in this, running as 145A, and he's clocked a 47.62. Car 141 Steve Jarrett over the line in 46.5. The Fiesta is a 55.4, and Toby Bishop with the Mini Cooper S, a 46.56. So good range of times. Kevin King at the top, 54.09 with the Ford Fiesta. Let's see how Mark Porter's doing with the Mark II 2 litre Ford Escort. As across the parkland goes Derek Kessel with his Maguire Minis. This is a space frame chassis with a fiberglass mini body. 144 Mark Porter's 50. The Escort made it to the top, 47.5. As we see, five-time Wiscombe champion Ian Englehart with his Westfield SE 2 litre Vauxhall powered machine, off the line in 2.67 seconds for Derek Kessel. 147 is 43.71. With his 46.35. So Ian Englehart at Wiscombe Park.